My husband told me he was traveling for business every second weekend of the month. For 5 years, I believed him. I didn't realize that while I was tucking our daughter into bed, he was doing the exact same thing for another family just 40 miles away, in a house I was unknowingly paying for. For 10 years, I thought I was the luckiest woman in the world. My husband, David, was a high-level consultant, or so he said. He was charming, attentive, and a devoted father to our 7-year-old daughter, Maya. We lived in a beautiful, fully automated smart home in the suburbs of Seattle. Everything was integrated. The lights, the security, the climate, and the AI assistant, Aura, that managed our lives. David's job required travel. Project management, he'd say with a tired smile as he packed his leather briefcase every second Friday. He'd kiss us goodbye, and for 48 hours he was a ghost, supposedly buried in meetings in San Francisco or New York. The crack in the facade didn't come from a lipstick stain or a late-night text. It came from a software update. In early 2026, our home's AI system, Aura, received a major intuitive sync update. It was designed to recognize family patterns and optimize the house based on who was home. One Tuesday evening, while David was at the office, I was sitting in the kitchen when the lights suddenly dimmed to a soft amber, and the speakers began playing a playlist called Lullabies for Leo. I don't have a son named Leo. Aura, I said, my heart fluttering. Why are you playing this? This is the preferred setting for user profile. David, secondary residence. The AI responded in its calm, synthetic voice. My blood turned to ice. Aura, display all locations associated with user profile David. A map appeared on the kitchen's smart glass. 2 pins dropped. One was our home. The other was a townhouse in a quiet, affluent neighborhood only 45 minutes away. I didn't call him. I didn't scream. I spent the next 6 hours diving into our shared cloud drive, the one he thought he had partitioned. David was a brilliant consultant, but he underestimated the new AI's ability to bridge hidden data for user convenience. What I found was a digital graveyard of my marriage. There were photos, hundreds of them. David at Christmas, David at a 3rd birthday party, David holding a newborn boy named Leo. The woman in the photos wasn't a stranger. She was Chloe, his assistant, who had supposedly moved back to her hometown years ago. But the betrayal went deeper than a second family. I started looking at the finances. My father had left me a massive trust fund when he passed away in 2022. David was the co-executor. I found that he had been funneling nearly $15,000 a month into a business expense account that was actually paying the mortgage, the private school tuition, and the lifestyle for his other family. He was using my father's hard-earned legacy to fund his double life. I spent the next 2 weeks being the perfect wife. I cooked his favorite meals. I listened to his fake stories about the San Francisco project, all while my lawyers and a private investigator were stripping him bare. I found out that Chloe didn't even know I existed. He had told her he was a divorced man whose ex-wife was unstable and kept his daughter away from him. He was playing both of us, painting me as a villain in one house and a queen in the other. The travel weekend arrived. David kissed me, grabbed his bags, and left. I waited 30 minutes. Then I drove to the second location. I didn't go in. I stood on the sidewalk and used my phone to access the secondary residence smart system, which, thanks to the sync, I now had full admin rights over. I waited until I saw through the smart window that they were all sitting down for dinner. David, Chloe, and little Leo. A picture-perfect lie. I tapped a command on my screen. Every light in their house began to strobe at 100% brightness. The security alarm started blaring at maximum volume. The smart sprinklers in the living room, designed for fire suppression, activated, soaking their expensive dinner and furniture. Then, I broadcasted a video to every smart screen in their house. It wasn't a movie. It was our wedding video, followed by a montage of David and Maya at our home. The audio was a recording of David from 3 hours ago telling me, "I love you more than anything. I'll miss you this weekend." I watched through the window as David's face went from confusion to pure, unadulterated terror. Chloe stood up, screaming as she watched the video of her husband kissing another woman on a loop in her own living room. I walked up to the front door, which I had remotely unlocked. I didn't step inside. I just stood in the frame, bone dry, while they were soaking wet in the chaos of the sirens and lights. "The San Francisco project looks a bit damp, David," I said. The fallout was nuclear. Since the house was bought with embezzled funds from my trust, my lawyers moved with surgical precision. Because he had committed financial fraud and breach of fiduciary duty regarding the trust, we didn't just go through a divorce. We went for the jugular. I didn't just get the house in custody. I got a court order freezing every asset he touched. Chloe, realizing she had been a pawn in his game, actually teamed up with me. She provided the business expense receipts he had given her, which proved the embezzlement. David is currently living in a studio apartment above a garage, working 3 jobs to pay back the hundreds of thousands he stole from my father's trust. He's legally barred from the suburbs he used to haunt. Maya thinks her dad is away on a very long business trip for now. We're in therapy. And as for the smart home, I had Aura deleted. Some things are better off not being connected. I'm now sitting on my porch, watching the sunset. My father's money is back where it belongs, securing Maya's future. And David, he's finally what he always pretended to be during those